In this video, I'll demonstrate how to enter data into Intellectus statistics. And so as you can see here, we're in the main page. Once you open the program, you'll generally be brought to the projects page. And there's a few kind of important buttons to pay attention to. If you had previously entered projects or open projects within Intellectus, you'll see them listed here. And if you want to work with a currently or previously loaded project, you can just click Load Project and it will take you directly to that data. There's a couple other ways we have of bringing data into Intellectus, and the first and probably one of the two most common is going to be uploading an external data file. And so if you've got data that's in an Excel file, in a SPSS file, or other one of the more common types of data files, you can upload that file directly into Intellectus without having to do anything to the original file itself. So let's go ahead and demonstrate how that would work. So we would click Upload a Data File. You can see you have to indicate what type of data file it might be. So is it a CSV, delimited data? Is it an Excel file? Is it SPSS? Is it from SAS? And so forth. And if you know the data file type, then you can choose that. If you're not sure, look at the suffix at the name of the data file as it's saved, and that will tell you what type of data file you have. So we're going to assume that we have an SPSS file that we want to upload into Intellectus. So we click on the SAV option, and then we click Choose File and go to our wherever our files might be. Choose that file, click Open, and then click Upload File, and you'll see that that file will quickly upload. It might take a few seconds to upload and open, but there it is. And then one of the first things you'll see is you'll have a list of all of your variables within that data file, and it gives you a chance to check and verify the correct level of measurement for each variable. So that gives you a chance to make sure that the variable as you have it designed has been uploaded into the correct level of measurement, because sometimes it can change a little bit when you upload some of these files. And then once you're comfortable with what the level of measurement is for each variable, then you click Continue, and now you can work with your data. Okay, the other type of common method is if you don't have any data entered into any other file at this point, so you want to enter your data manually. And so you click on the Enter Data Manually button, and you'll see it open into what looks like a typical spreadsheet, and you can enter your data in manually. I'll go into more detail about how to manipulate data within this window in a separate video, but here at this point you can name your variable, and then you can begin to enter in your data by hand, and you can do that for any number of variables. Once you've entered the data that you want to into this particular project, you want to make sure you click the Save button, and then it will save that project. It'll usually save it as a new project until you give it a name, but again, it's also going to check to make sure you've got the right level of measurement for whatever data you have entered in, and now you've got a data file to work with. The last type of situation we might run into is if you want to practice or try out some of the different techniques within Intellectus. You can choose an example data set, and Intellectus has several built in, and it'll indicate the name and kind of the general area or profession or area of interest that data might come from. It'll also give you some idea of the kinds of analyses that you can do with that particular data, and there's a pretty wide variety of data sets from very simple to very complex, so you can try out and practice just about any of the analyses available here in Intellectus. And then once you've decided which one you want to work with, you just go ahead and click the Select button, and then it'll kind of give you a description, tell you how many participants, how many rows of data, and then how many variables are in that particular data file. And it'll also give you some indication of what type of variables you could consider as dependent or independent variable and so on, so you have a chance to practice an example. And then you go ahead and create project with this data set, and it does the same thing. It asks you to verify the level of measurement for each of the variables, and then once you click Continue, now you're in the data set and you can begin to work with that particular data set. So those are the most common ways we have of bringing data into Intellectus or entering data into Intellectus. And as you'll see in some of the other analyses, for example, the chi-square analysis, you can either import data or you can enter data into a chi-square table by hand. And so there are a few different options of getting data into Intellectus. So hopefully you found this video useful, and good luck using it in your own research.